Good afternoon, peanuts, legumes, everything else in between. Of course, I'm Jim Anesso, and I'm back again with PK Noodle. How are you guys?
Good.
And
Good to
our
be
guest.
back.
Oh, it's great to be back. It's been a 2-day turnaround, but of course, we're here with our guest, AdianWHO from Trident. How are you, Aidan?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me.
So excited to have, Aidan on here because Aidan's a bit of a unique character when it comes to the CS sort of world. Different personal life to a lot of players. So I'm so excited to have a bit of a chat to you. Probably the best little segue or intro that I can give you, Aidan, is that when we were looking at trying to tee up a time slot that we could actually do this interview today, your explanation to me was you just needed to make sure it fitted in with a few things on your to-do list. Primarily making sure that you could first repair the chicken pen because you've recently just bought some new chickens and your dog was trying to kill them. So you first need to address that urgent situation and then you could have a chat with us. Confirm or deny?
Well, yeah, it was only 2 days ago that I come to the decision that I wanted some chickens because who doesn't like chickens? That's the honest truth. And I own a Rockwheeler, and he's never had the experience of being around chooks or any type of animal. So when I put him in this pen, I left him alone for like 2 seconds. I swear it was only 2 seconds, and his head was already through the chicken mesh, and he was trying to eat them. So I've had to run outside and pull him away. These poor chickens are just like nearly dying from fright. So I had to put them in a cat carrier until I like fixed it. But yeah, they're good. The chickens are alive.
Okay,
The
so
dog's not
there's
dead.
no murder happening. All the animals are safe. Just so
No,
we get that out the way first of all. There's no need
no
for
animals were
RSPCA or
harmed.
anything. Okay,
No animals were harmed.
but
But
it's
yeah,
it's it's fascinating because you actually live in rural Queensland by all accounts. I mean, you live 4.5 hours west of Brisbane in a little town called Miles. What's that like? What's your day-to-day life look like?
well, there's not much to do. I think half the reason I became a gamer was because you either drank every night or played games. Like that was the only thing that happens out here, or joined the footy club, which I didn't want to do because I hate half the people on that team. But yeah, so it's all right. Like I like the country life better than the city life because you know most of the people in your town, and yeah, people know who you are. But the one thing that they cannot comprehend, and it's taken 10 years for my own mother to comprehend, that Counter-Strike is not just something we do as a hobby. We do it because we pursue that esports dream that everybody wants to be a star. You know, they want to have all their fans for doing something they love. So why can't we do it with our gaming? But it's all right, little town. No
What
one to
about
play with me though.
what about though in terms of like the practicalities? I think you were telling me that even travel time to events. I mean, purely by the fact that you're 5 hours away from an airport or a main city. How does that
Yeah.
all play up from a practical perspective?
Well, back yeah, I don't. That's why when people say they can't organise themselves to go to a LAN, really bothers me because I'm able to organise a lift when I was younger to Brisbane, stay at a hotel, go to the LAN, drive home that night. And then for ACL, I'm able to organise with my work, right, I need this and this day off, get my plane tickets, drive 5 hours to my sister's house, stay the night, then get up really early in the morning, jump on a plane, hopefully get picked up by Berners, that's if he doesn't forget me, and then yeah, go into a hotel and then go to the event. So it's okay because it makes me have more of a drive. That's why like I'm a very passionate player. Like I love Counter Strike. I play it way too much, but I'd love to play it more. But that can't, you know, us Australians, we have to work to live. We can't play to live.
That's exactly right. And interesting, too, that I guess, a lot of the events are online and being so remote. I mean, how do you find the internet out there?
It's gotten a lot better. Like I used to get 80 to 100 ping. That was just the norm. But now I've got ADSL2 and I've got better net than some people in my team, which is pretty shocking. Like I think I sit at about 50, 60 ping on my home net. I can't stream. Like us being ADSL2, I only get, I think it's not even a megabyte upload, but that's when this amazing dongle comes in handy. You put him on, 30 megabyte upload, and yeah, I'm able to chuck up a stream so people can see my type of CS, left-handy style.
Because when you're talking about your day-to-day life as well, what just for those people who might not know, what do you actually do for your job? Because I find that
Yep.
fascinating as well. People might not actually understand what you do and exactly when you say the title, what it is.
Yeah, well, I am a qualified diesel fitter. So pretty much that means that I'm a mechanic, but I specialize in heavy machinery, like mining machinery. So I work on your dozers, tractors, excavators, yeah, even to your car, to your lawnmower. Like where I work, we work on everything, like everything that has a motor. we get paid more than a mechanic, which makes it good because especially when I need to save up money to go to these certain events that cost a fortune. But yeah, it helps a lot. But the roster is pretty good for gaming because I start at 6 and finish at 3:30, 4 o'clock. So I get the whole afternoon to game, and I usually game till about 10, 11 o'clock, go to sleep, do it again. Then by a Friday, I definitely need to sleep in. Like, I'm pretty much...
Could definitely
yeah.
echo that. I think every gamer, dreams
Uh,
of that Saturday morning sleep in.
That's why I think that maybe, Renegades had their slump because they finally become gamers as a job and they didn't really know how to balance it properly. So they were probably wearing themselves out too much, and that's why their results were showing a bit lacking. But I think they're on the right track now, so should start to see them rise again and play the Aussie style instead of trying to be overseas.
That's
Speaking about Aussie style, though, you guys are the ones that have recently been the model of success. You're one of, when you look back, obviously, you've just come off your victory at CGBL Division 2, but you look back at the other teams that were your competitors during the season, there's not many left standing, lots of roster changes, whereas you guys, I guess, being that shining light in the form of stability, you've had the results to back it up as well. What's the recent success been like for your team? What's the vibe like?
Oh, well, it's awesome. But see, right now we're in a different stage. Like when after ACL and after Cyber Game of Div 2, we were pretty hyped. Like we're happy how we're playing. But now that everyone's been watching us, we've completely just stripped everything down and we're rebuilding again. So when we go to verse a team, they can't just be like, oh, this is their type of style. So we've kind of pulled away from, we're still doing what we're doing, but we've pulled away from what we were doing. And now we're more working on a different sort of play style to try to keep it mixed up so we can't get counter-stratted as much, which was a pain in the ass when it come to ACL practice and then Cybergamer, because we were putting all our effort into ACL. Like we missed out one after the other with those invites. Got in the very last second because what was that team that pulled out?
One of the teams pulled out in that
Pixel's
spot.
team.
Yes.
Well, you knew he wasn't going to
Arbitrate.
attend LAN, so it was fine.
Arbitrate.
As soon as he pulled out and we got that chance to go, we were just heavy on tracking and then trying to organise flights and that at the same time. But the worst thing about it is these other teams were actually watching us. So when we went to verse them in our groups and stuff, they just knew what we were doing. They counter-stratted our pistols, they counter-stratted our default, and it was just a pain in the ass, but that's what you get. That's what you get when people start looking.
It's funny you say that because I think you guys have certainly, at least in a lot of teams' eyes, been the measure for the measuring stick as far as strategy goes. I mean, it's no secret, and these teams have made it no secret that they're actually using your strategies and using them as their own. I mean,
you want to know the best thing about that?
Chiefs and Renegades.
The Jim's team is the one copying
Chiefs and Renegades have been using them.
The best thing about that is we know our strats, and if you're going to use our strat against us, we know the weak spots. We know where it can go wrong. So if they go in and do our default, we know exactly where to push to piss you off. Like, there's only certain places you can do on our default that is a weak spot. And sometimes people do try to exploit that, but luckily we've got some pretty good aimers in our group, which it's been a while since I've been in a team that I'm fully confident that if someone's pushing behind me, they're going to be able to kill them. But yeah, it's hats off to Lonsdale and Simon. Simon helps out with the strats too. Like, they've created a type of CS that fits us. Like, we can all do it. Like, and yeah, it just makes Counter-Strike so much easier when you know what you've got to do and you just rock up and do it. It just, yeah.
I actually love that as well. I must admit, during my Division 2 days, when I was working my way up through the scene, I used to have that same mentality where, as an in-game leader, I was always trying to provide that structure to my team to allow us to, I guess, overcome some of the perhaps more skilled or aim star lineups that you might come against. And I always found that that was a great way to get across that line and make that next step. And the fact that you've actually got these Div 1 teams recognising, I guess, your game style and the great strength that it can provide your team and actively copying, it's a great testament to you guys.
Yeah, you wouldn't think of it had happened because a lot of people try to look at, like even we do, you watch the overseas demos because they're the ones playing all the time. Yeah. And then you take what they've got and you form it to how your team's going. Whereas I feel like a lot of teams are just copying that strat straight out, thinking, well, they do it, we may as well do it, and it's going to work. But the thing is, I'm not Kenny S, and Lonsdale's not Happy or whoever. We're our own players, so you've got to adjust it to how your team actually can perform, because otherwise you're just going to lose.
Yeah. I think that's almost... like I guess Counter-Strike 102. There's the 101, and then there's the
Yeah,
102.
that's right.
And that is definitely playing to your strengths, and that's something you guys have been able to do. Funnily enough, throughout the CGPL Div 2 season, I mean, you ground out that season, you came
Yeah.
away and scraped into the finals, and I guess from there you really you did it tough in some of those games as well. I mean, the game against Elite Crew. I don't think I've ever seen a comeback like that in a final series in my time in Counter-Strike. And as you said, it's testament to you guys that you actually had to dig deeper into your set strategy and come up with something on the fly. And I think that's something not many Div 2 teams, let alone Div 1 teams, are able to do. So
Yeah. I find it with Trident, you know how you can find those certain players that tilt really easy? Like that's a word that's going around a lot lately, is this person's going on tilt. I hear it so often in TeamSpeak right now when I'm playing with the boys. Yeah, it's just he's on tilt. But with us, it doesn't happen. Like we could be 14-3 down and it just feels like another round. Like we haven't, I don't know if we're stupid or we just we just go.
Aidan, we might need to do over. You don't want to say that on this one. No, mate. No.
But it's just like we never feel like we're going to lose until we've actually lost. Like when that 16 round come around, that's when we're like, oh, we've stuffed it up. Whereas with that League Crew game, it was just the best feeling because as soon as they hit 15, it's just like everyone's like, righto, that's enough for them. Let's just go. And each round we just kept going and going. And that's why I love the P90, because when you know the other team can tilt and they're beating you, if you smoke flash P90, there is no way anyone can be happy about dying to a P90 ever. It's just the best.
I think any recent victims of Gazza can probably attest to that as well. He's made that gun quite famous in the scene.
It's such a good gun. Like I don't know why it's not used as a main gun.
When you're talking about that mentality though, because that's something that is truly remarkable in the sense that not many teams, I think, in my experience, actually have that mentality where they can really not let large deficits get to them, which is what you're talking about essentially. That's something that's really a learned skill that really normally comes from experience, whereas you guys are making your way up through the scene, through Div 2, now into Div 1. That's something that normally teams at that level wouldn't actually have. What do you put it down to? Is it, you think, good in-game leadership, or is it just everyone is quite mature, or where is that coming from?
Well, we've all played this game a long time. We've just, like, here's a quick point. When I left CSS, when CSGO come out, to try to get a head start. Picked up a few people. We were doing all right. I think we ended up coming 4th in the first season. But then some stuff happened. I had a pretty emotional girlfriend who pulled me away from the computer. So I took a break. I took about a 12-month break, and I've come back and I joined a few teams. And this is when Huck, he come back as well from the gutter eating crabs, whatever he was doing. Whoever knows Huck will get that. But and I was joining these teams, and after 2 losses, they'd all just want to make quits. And I was just like, well, this is not what I want to do. I want to be in a team that just wants to keep pushing. And that's when I knew Yellow was making a team looking for 2 more players. That was Knife Runners back then. And so he picked up me and Spect. But the main thing he said as we joined was, are you in this for the long haul? He's like, I don't care if you're bad, but as long as you're in it for the long haul, it's going to be fine. And that's just how it's been ever since day one with the team. Is it doesn't matter what the results is, we'll make it better, because you learn more from a loss than you do from a win. And that's just how it's always been for us.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
But I guess, as you say, like, longevity in your team has probably been a key strength. And I mean, recently we've seen on the forums there's a thread dedicated to it. It's a common mentality that, you know, at the end of season, teams feel that they have to make these changes, and it's been termed the OCE shuffle.
Where did that come from? Yeah, why is that in our brains? I don't understand. It's just like, have any team, any sport. What's the point of working so hard all season, working out strategies and stuff, and then at the end of the season going, nah, we didn't win, let's quit? Why wouldn't you go, well, righto, we got this far, let's change it up a bit, because you already got the chemistry down, you've got basic strats down, all you have to do is review your demos and work on it, that's it. Whereas picking up new players, yes, they might be better aimers, but you've just lost all that chemistry and hard work, and you have to start again.
You were legit my favourite player, Aidan. I agree 100% with what you just said, 100%. And I just think that when you put it on the forums, it's just making it worse, because then everyone's talking about it. It becomes this big thing, the OCE shuffle, and the more people are talking about it, the more attention it gets, the worse it becomes.
I think the problem was with our top teams because we've only ever had, say, IM and Renegades stay together. Look at this. Renegades/Fox, when they were, is the prime example of how to be a good team. They were the same roster for so long, and it done them justice because they just knew the ins and out of the game together. Like, what's the point of getting 5 aim stars who are not going to watch your back, who are going to push for frags, who are just going to try to get the spotlight every time? Whereas look at my team, nobody cares who's on top. Like, it's all just about getting in that site, getting that plant, post positions. Like, it just frustrates me. I just think if we could fix the top 8 teams, just stay in the same lineup, the bottom ones will follow. They'll see that that's what everyone else is doing to stay good. Because if you look, this is another thing that frustrates me with the Div 1 teams that swap, is that you'll get this team that dies, they reform, but because they've got 5 Div 1 players, teams that can't go up because this team's formed when they're just as bad as the CFIA team. All they're doing is pushing and using their aim. Whereas you've got a team here in Div 2 who are trying their hardest strat-wise and pulling the results too. But just because this team has 5 Div 1 players and this one's got 5 Div 2 players, they can't go up and they can't go down. And that's what frustrates me. There needs to be some rule against teams reforming after end of season. Like, you've got to go back to Div 2.
Well, here's an interesting question for you then. Let's throw yourself out there under the bus for a few people. From your experiences in Div 2 this season, obviously, given the fact that you guys won, you're expecting to be promoted. Who were the other teams that you played that you did think would potentially warrant a spot? Were there other teams that you thought deserved to be in Div 1?
I reckon, well, League Crew, for instance, those guys are just, they're amazing. And Atletico, which, just quietly, I don't know why they've removed players and stuff because they were very well chiseled. They were on the road to great success, and they've just gotten rid of one of the other best AWPers in Australia and one of the entry fraggers. And I don't understand why. Like, personalities might have clashed, but I'd rather fix a personality clash than try find players to fit those massive roles. Like, but there was, you could even put Frey. When they were first starting, they were looking really promising. Apart from that, you could go Aura. Like, they made it to the very last end, but they never pushed themselves. They'd only rock up and play, which was good enough for them because they were winning. But if they push themselves a little further, I reckon they could easily get Div 1 standard, like, even though their aim is now, but as a team. But it doesn't matter because 90% of Div 2 teams died. So what do you do?
That's not even a overstatement either. I was actually looking, prior to this, I was actually looking through the Div 2 teams that competed this season and trying to count off in my head how many are still together. And literally, apart from yourselves and maybe Cypher or Guts as they're now known and 1 or 2 others, there's no one else.
They're gone. And that's scary. That is actually scary. Like, I just don't understand people's thoughts. Like, do they think they're going to get a better chance? Like, it's not how it goes.
Definitely, it's a strange mentality to have, and it always sort of bamboozled me because I was a player that played with the same core of players, or at least extended core of players for near on 10 years, and you know, we might have shuffled lineups 1 or 2 players in between, like, our general group, but never, like, you know, bringing in new players and things like that. So, like, I think maybe the fact that people are highlighting all these changes almost promotes it and and prompts people to think that this is the done thing. You need to make the changes because that's what everyone else is doing.
It's not working, so kick someone, you know. Whereas, like, I know we can't really talk because we have had a roster change. Penske and Wooly were in our team, even Spect. Those 3 have been in Trident, but it was either like Penske, he had uni, and we felt really bad asking of him, look, we want you on 6 nights a week, where uni is real important. That's where your life starts to begin, especially since you can't take gaming as a profession these days in Australia because we're behind the world. But then, like, we had Wooly. But see, Wooly, he was a special case. Yellow found him from COD, I think. COD. And just in 12 months, he went to be an IGL. Like, his aim, he had Bloodlust and all that, but he had potential to be a great player, but he just stopped. Like, he couldn't find what Trident had, I guess, like that. He started trying to make teams, but then other teams would poach his players that he was trying to get, so he just gave up. But I just think it's okay to make changes if the situation needs it. Like, say, if someone's lacking or they're not as passionate as what the rest of the team is, like they don't want to keep driving forward, that's different. But if it's just because your team is lost, like, okay, we've gone all season, we've lost every game, let's just kick the guys that didn't frag as hard. But they might have been the ones staying up to 1 a.m. watching demos, you know? They might have been the ones that are studying other teams. Like, there's other things to a team than just fragging. And Australia's just so far behind in getting a structure in teams. Like, people talk about having the lurker and stuff, but do they really understand what that role is? Like, do they just think they've got to copy what Get Right does or whatever? Like, just look at Simon. Simon can actually lurk on eco rounds, like, whereas you want to be together, but he understands his role that well. He's just like, well, I know you guys are going to get side easy. I'm just going to Jew in this corner and just wait. Like, there's just so much to CS. It's just astonishing.
Simon, who of course we're talking about Break,
that's
is actually
Break, yes.
that good at lurking that he actually makes playing matchmaking that much of a painful experience. I've had the unfortunate experience of playing matchmaking alongside you guys with Break, and he just hides in corners trying to Zeus people the entire game with those lurking skills that he possesses. It just blows my mind, and it's no wonder, I want to call this out on stream, it's no wonder that he's not global elite when he plays like that.
He's actually a D rank the other day. But,
he just tries and Zeus's people all game.
This is what annoyed me. I just start streaming, right? I'm like, righto, people would like to see Trident in an MM, like how they play. So I asked the boys to come play, and nobody buys a real gun. They force buy Deagles every round, buy Scouts, buy Unts, buy Zeus, and I'm just sitting there going, great, everyone's watching us getting freaking smashed by these nobodies. Like, and they're sitting there going, you guys won Div 2, your shit. And the rest of my team's having a chuckle. I'm just there, just in my head. Like, it's just astonishing.
What are your expectations, I guess, in terms of potentially moving up, hopefully? I mean, there's no
you never
reason
know
why
what's
you
going to
wouldn't.
happen. Yeah.
What do you think in terms of potentially playing Div 1 next season?
I'm just going to throw it straight out there. We have potential to get finals. I honestly think we do. Without a doubt. We're going to be one of those rare teams. Fingers crossed. She could go way south and we could lose every game. It could happen. You never know. But in terms of potential and the way we're going, I think we can definitely make finals. And it'd be a dream come true for a lot of us to be able to attend that LAN event if it happens. Come on, CG. But if it happens... Like, it'll just be the best. And you know what we're like at LAN. We just love being there. We love seeing the other players' faces. The atmosphere just gets you on another level. And what makes it worse is I seriously think that we're a LAN-type team. If we verse a team online and lose, we'll verse them at LAN and beat them. And it's just a really weird... Because usually it's really good online and you're shit at LAN. But this way it's been swapped. Because it's like everyone just turns into gods at LAN. For example, one round I'll always remember is Dust2 versing Vox with Break. He buys the P90, doesn't say a word, just goes up short, drops down through double doors, pushes into B, kills 3, goes out the doors, pushes down into CT, kills the other 2, and then finally he's like, guys, I just went mid, and the round's over. Just like they turn into AIM gods. Like, everything they think they try to do online doesn't work, but at LAN it's just, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy.
No, it's good that obviously we are getting more LAN opportunities. I think that's certainly key to the development of Australian CS, and obviously you guys are confident on LAN, but look, obviously come LAN, you still emulate the same gameplay online, and I mean, we saw it at ACL Melbourne, we saw it throughout the entire CGPL Div 2 season. Those knife rounds, what's going on? What's the Trident perspective behind it? I mean, people have speculated, but can you give us some insight into that?
It all goes back to when we used to knife all the time, and you'd either lose or you'd win. But then,
good insight, by the way, Aidan. Good insight.
Yeah,
Thank you for
going to
that.
lose. But see, when you go to pick a side for a knife round, and you pick the side you want to play on, if you play bad, that's a bad mentality. Whereas if we go into a knife and we just throw it away and going, we're giving you the chance to do your best side, because we just think it doesn't matter for us, we'll play CT or T. It takes the pressure off our shoulders that we have to, like, this is our good side type of thing, if that makes sense. But the first time we did it was pretty much just because we wanted to get in their head and be like, haha, what are you going to do now? And I don't know if you guys remember, but it actually worked in one of those CG games where we were suiciding, and then on one map we didn't. We held back and cobble. I think it was actually against Aura. And they ran down and did not expect us to be waiting there to knife them, and we actually won the knife. It was, So it's just
turned in the grand final as well. The second map of the grand final, you actually knifed, and we lost our shit when we saw you knifing for the first time all season.
But it worked. Like, we got in people's heads. Like, it frustrated a few people that we weren't knifing because they were just like, well, are you not taking this seriously? It's not that we're taking the game seriously. We're just saying you can either put it two ways. Either we don't know which side we want, or we don't care, which is pretty much the same. Like, because if you're unsure about your best side, you may as well just pick whatever. Like, if we could, and if there was an option when you win knife, random, we'd probably do that. Random, which one we go on. But, it's just worked really well, and it's a bit of a laugh for everyone. Like, because at the end of the day, Counter-Strike's a game. If you don't enjoy playing it, you probably shouldn't be playing it because you might be pushing for that life of being a gamer, but you've got to love what you do to really just throw it all in. But yeah, that's the base story to it. But a lot of things have grown from the Trident knife round, and there's a few other people that are actually doing it. So
I was going to say, I've seen Vox. Vox did it at CGPL finals.
We've seen that, and I didn't work for them, but good on them. You know?
There you go. People are copying your strategies all round. I mean, it's not just the the base strategy. It's actually the knife rounds as well. But look, obviously you guys have had a successful Div 2 season. I mean, you can't really get any greater success than winning the division. But moving on down the track, we've spoken about Div 1. Have you guys sort of taken any time off post CG? I mean, really, from a lot of people's perspective, this is like the downtime for Australian CS. Like, are you guys taking some time off as well?
I wish we would take more, but it's like this. We're like, righto, guys, we'll have a break. Next thing, we come on the next day and everyone's on TeamSpeak, and we're just like, well, we may as well practice some smokes or something. Like, we are taking a different approach to the way we practicing these days. Like before, we always thought it was like just scrim, dry run, scrim. But now we're just getting in a server. We're practicing our executes, and we'll have the two players that aren't in those executes on the other side of the team trying to counter it. So we get sort of a real-life dry run type action. We're even getting some other players in to try hold spots for us while we're just doing dry run strats because, as Lonsdale was saying, like we're getting these scrims, but all we're doing is benefiting the other team because they're learning from us. We're not learning anything. So we're trying to pull back and just purely concentrate on our gameplay and try and make it like evolve. If we can evolve the Trident playstyle one more, I really think we could be contenders to even, pushing to those LAN finals.
What sort of events do you have coming up on the horizon?
Well,
of course, I am alluding to something, but I'll let you spill the beans. We like to have breaking news here on the Peanut Gallery VODs that we do.
I'm pretty sure pretty much everyone knows, and I've gotten okay. Trident has been lucky enough to be invited into the Counterpit League, which is a massive thing for us. Like, we didn't even know it was coming our way. We had a manager Twitch message all of us saying, are you guys free at this date? And we're like, oh, yeah, I guess so. Why? And he's like, do you have passports? And we're just like, oh, what are you talking about? And then, so he broke the news that we've been invited and do we want to have a go? And obviously, yes, like that's probably the biggest event we've ever participated in, apart from Crown, which we sadly missed out on. But yeah, it's much hype. Like we're all keen, we're all practicing hard, and we'll just see how it goes.
It's incredible, isn't it? I guess for those people at home who might not know, Counterpit, I guess this is season 2. After the success of season 1, which was just a European competition, they've actually expanded now globally. So they've got qualifiers in not just Australia, but also North America, Europe, and the CIS region, all vying for, I guess, a spot at the LAN finals in March next year, which will be held at Croatia. $80,000 on the line. So this is an incredible opportunity for you guys who are really just now hitting your stride, vying for a spot to an international competition. What are your expectations? Do you think you can bring it to the other teams? I think you can.
Oh, well, it comes down to this. We know we can beat every team in Australia. If we're on a good day, we can beat any team. It's just that simple. But now that we know that that's kind of like we can reach and grab it, that it's sinking in a bit more, that everyone's like, we could actually go overseas. Like this could actually happen. Just look at Legacy now. I was going to call them Animal Squad. Look at the luck they got. You cannot call that they lucked that out, but it doesn't matter. They're now getting the experience of going overseas. And that team, just in the last month or two, has evolved tenfold. Like, they never used to be that good. And they are starting to turn heads. And I wish them all the best. And I wish that was me. But, but it could be. You never know. But that's the thing. Like, if we could then go overseas and get that experience that everyone talks about, I think we could get even better. But I just think it's crazy how much events are inviting Australia across, and sometimes it's not one team, it's two. It's like, and now that Renegades is mostly overseas, it's leaving a second spot open for that other team to be like, hey, come get your name out there, come show us what you got type of thing. And as Immunity showed with Cloud9 at Crown, like, it doesn't matter if you're from overseas or if you're a professional team. If we're on point, we're going to get you.
That's right. You can see how competitive it is at the moment. I mean, Chiefs beating Immunity at the CGPL LAN finals. These spots are up for grabs for anyone.
I think this is the closest top 8 teams ever, because it could go either way. Like, even now with a few of those roster changes in the top league, like were talking about before this. I think some other teams are going to push even higher in those rankings because if you really think about it, there was 2 Div 1 teams that were lacking a fair bit in terms of capability. But hopefully they're all pulling their shit together and we can see some even tighter games. And it's just exciting. It's going to be a great thing to watch. I expect anybody that loves Counter-Strike should be viewing these games, especially if you guys are streaming them, maybe. But everyone should be watching them.
Aidan, move along.
Everyone should be spectating, getting behind every team. It doesn't matter if you hate them. It's just we're trying to grow Esports Australia. We're just trying to make it better for everyone. And if we keep going the way we are, you never know. We could start inviting teams from overseas over to us, like we have, but more of them. Having a dream hack in Australia, what up?
And for those who might not know as well, some of the teams, because there are qualifiers for Counterpit around the world, but some teams have already got direct invites. So Counterpit have just announced that Envios, Navi, and Virtus Pro will all be at the LAN finals. That's 3 of the 8 teams. So this is a competition that I guess all the best teams in the world are vying for. There's I guess, global eyes all around the world looking at the teams from all the different regions, scouting them out. So I'm so happy for you guys. And I can really just sense your passion for the game when you're talking about things like jumping into TS and everyone's teams are still practice, even though you've just come off an event victory. So I'm so happy for you guys. It's a wonderful opportunity.
Hopefully we don't cake. Like, cake is delicious, but not when it comes to Counter-Strike.
What about in terms of some other things? Because I've just seen you just started streaming as well. Is that something that we should expect some more of?
Hopefully, yeah. Well, I've only started since yesterday, and I was fairly amateur. I didn't even really know how to launch the stream when they said this is the internet, have a go. So it took me a bit to get that sorted. And yeah, I think you will see me streaming more and more often. Feel free to come and banter me if you want. You can pay on me. It doesn't matter as long as you're watching. It's positives for me. Come see how the lefty does it. If you really want, I could put the camera down so you can watch the wingspan.
I was going to say, you could do a scream.
Yeah.
Do a scream and have a camera on your setup as well as your face.
I think people would be quite shocked. Like, after ACL, the amount of people PM me on Steam going, is that legit? Or is that a And it's legit. That's just how I play. And what makes it worse is I'm actually right-handed in real life. Like, my mum used to clean out PCs back when we were younger, and she'd always put the mouse to the left-hand side, and we just got sick of swapping it, so we learnt to play left-handed.
That's the most incredible story I've ever heard. I've just assumed you were left-handed. You're actually right-handed.
Yeah, and the worst thing is you put me right-handed to play, and I'm terrible. I'm so bad. And what makes it worse is you got your normal mouse.
Yeah.
I fire with this one, and I scope with this one. It's head spin.
Oh, so it's like a middle finger fire where you'd normally scope.
Pointer finger, scope. Yeah. It's weird, I know. Sometimes I think that's why I got to the level I am, because my brain's just like, what are you doing? Like,
well, I mean, if you were to order a camera to show people your setup, because, I mean, for people who don't know, he sits with I guess what we'd call a wingspan, where he'd have his mouse on one side and his keyboard, and there's probably about a meter in between, I reckon. If you were to order a webcam to show people that, it probably wouldn't turn up for about 20 days or so.
Yeah, unless it was in stock at Brisbane, then I'd get it in a day or two. Or 5 to 6 working days. But see, my defense when people ask me that is, you think when you guys have your setup, you have a keyboard in between both hands. Like, your keyboard swings across. So there's a gap there, but you can't see it. Mine's the keyboard's off this way, so you can physically see the massive gap. And it's just like I remember landing and sharing a mouse pad with my teammates. Like, There's actually, I'm pretty sure Maverick has a photo of it, me and JPEGs, sharing a mouse pad at one of the LANs.
Oh my goodness, Aidan, I learn new things every day when I'm talking to you. I love it.
Well, that's what happens when the country boy plays online games. Something weird happens.
Now to some of the hard-hitting questions that we've really got for you, and that was all just light stuff, mate. The first hard-hitting question I have for you is, it's recently come to light on the CG forums that you have bought an Alt Dragon Lore. What has been the impact on your gameplay?
I'll be honest, I was at who can I say? I'll just say a low level of AWPing. Where, like, I had so many names going through my head, but I'll be nice. And now I reckon I'm above Fallen.
Oh, okay.
I'm above Fallen. I'm a better AWPer than him. I'm just below Guardian.
Okay.
But yeah, you're about to see some big things in the upcoming season with the lore. I passed that lore off to Lonsdale and he nearly teams down. The power of the lore.
And that's saying something, because Lonsdale is horrible. So.
Nice.
New alias like Guard Aidan.
Yeah. But see, No, Lonsdale was an AWPer. I don't know if you guys got to see him in his last team when he was AWPing. Did you?
Napalm.
Yeah. Did you get to watch him much?
I did. He actually was pretty good.
Not
He was
bad.
pretty good.
Yeah, he used to nearly put me on tilt.
It's
But
the CIS AWPers.
yeah, yeah.
Something about
But the worst thing is you can't really be an IGL and an AWPer. You can. I'm not going to say you can't. Anything's possible, but it's just not really the role you want to be in. And yeah, like, I recommend the law to anyone. And if anyone wants to buy it, I'll sell it to you for 10 grand. I'll sign it myself.
Look, also another hard-hitting question. I mean, you alluded to it earlier. I mean, Break, his matchmaking ranks probably not up where it should be. Your team's matchmaking ranks, I heard they're not all global elite. Can you confirm or deny this rumor?
Well, I'm pretty sure we just got yellowed to Global Elite last night, so it's everyone but
Boosted?
Simon. Break. Yeah, boosted. No, he was playing. He was headshotting people. As I said, I don't know if it's because they take matchmaking as a joke, but we never ever buy serious guns ever. Like it's always a deagle. Everyone just wants to be happy in that they just want to headshot everyone. That's just what it is. But yeah, you guys will have to join us one time and actually feel my pain when you're actually trying to play serious.
I've already played once with you. That's enough, mate. That's enough for me. Count me out.
Now you know my
Count me
pain. I'm
out.
trying to play with Nick.
As we were talking about before, PK, when you say scrim instead of match, scrim, yellow buys a deagle. A match, yellow buys a real gun. Like, that's the difference.
So now we've got that differentiation. Just quickly, when can we expect to see Trident back in action? I mean, you mentioned earlier you've got a match on tonight. What's that about?
We are in the Blaster XCOM, and I'll just double check. We are versing Real Mint. I don't know if you guys have heard of Real Mint.
No.
That
No
is.
offense to Real Mint, but
Oh, that's Hellraiser, Luke P.
oh, okay. Well, I know the players. Okay.
So we'll be versing them at 9 p.m. tonight. It's been changed. Late night for Aidan. That's
We know
fun.
Aidan goes to bed at 10 o'clock, so that could be pushing it.
Yeah. The worst thing is like you finish CS and you're like, because say you finish CS at 10, you're like, right, I'll just get everything ready now. You have dinner and you sit in bed, and then it takes you another hour just to calm your brain down because it's just been going spastic for the last 4 hours. But yeah, that's when we'll be starting it up again is tonight.
Alright,
I don't know.
Little turnaround for you guys. Straight back in action in the Blaster X Cup.
That's him. I didn't even know. It's like a. It really reminds me of a 3v3 ladder on World of Warcraft. The way they've got it set out is where everyone has like a rating at 1400, and whether you win or lose, it boosts it up or down. That's
Okay.
I've never
Yellow.
seen this. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, look. First of all, I'd like to thank you for your time and some awesome insight, obviously, into the inner workings of Trident and a little bit, obviously, about your bubbly personality. I mean, Counter-Strike's full of awesome personalities, and certainly it's our pleasure to highlight that and bring that to you. And I mean, obviously, Nick's not just one of the personalities. Some might say he is one of the most interesting, but we disagree. I think he's boring. There are other people out there that are better. So obviously, thank you for your time this afternoon, Ed.
Well, I'd like to thank you guys for allowing me to actually come and speak because you're very game. You never know what comes out of my mouth. And I'd just like to go on my way of saying, keep doing what you're doing. You guys are putting a big spotlight on everyone, which is what's been needed in CSGO since the start. And if you guys stick it out, I hope to see big things.
Thanks, buddy.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, and good luck to your team. I'm really, really excited and happy for you guys that you've been given this opportunity to play in the Counterpit lead with the Div 1 teams, but then hopefully as well Div 1 CGBL next season, which should start up at the beginning of next year. So you guys are just going from strength to strength, and you fully deserve it. You're a team that's stuck around. Like you said, you've put in the hard yards, you've learned from your losses, you've learned from your wins, and now you're starting to reap the rewards. So I'm so happy for you guys. You're a role model team for everyone else out there that's looking to climb the ranks and be able to compete against the Rivals one day. So happy for you guys, and thank you so much, Aidan.
No, thank you guys.
That's awesome. Hopefully we'll see more of your knife rounds on Reddit. So keep
Let's
creating.
get it on there. We'll have to pick more areas to knife in. Or suicide in.
But look, of course, this has been a pleasure for all of us. This has been another episode of Cracked. Of course, I'm Jim and Esso,
I'm PK.
and we like our nuts.
I'm Aidan.
That's Aidan.
We like our nuts shelled.
We like them cracked as well, Jim.
We like them shelled, cracked, and of course, tasty.
Laters.
See ya.